Going into Week 5 of the 2020 NFL season, the Cleveland Browns are the #1 rushing offense in the league. And after years of mediocrity, it seems like they're finally on their way to a successful season. The offensive line is playing great, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb are tearing defenses to shreds, and Kevin Stefanski is getting creative in his play calls. When the Browns hired Stefanski to be their new head coach, I immediately assumed that he'd do everything he can to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands and into the hands of the playmakers, because that's what he did in Minnesota. Limiting the margin for error on passing plays helped Kirk Cousins go from the bottom of the league in terms of efficiency in 2018 to the top in 2019. And even though we haven't seen the same statistical jump from Baker, this offense finally has some sort of identity. The Browns' ground and pound philosophy is not necessarily supported by modern analytics, but they're finding ways to win games, which is really all that matters. Cleveland's offense absolutely abused the Dallas Cowboys' defense in Week 4, and while the Cowboys deserve a lot of blame for an embarrassing defensive breakdown, the Browns, and Stefanski in particular, deserve an equal amount of credit for constructing a really solid game plan and taking advantage of Dallas's weaknesses. Cleveland's game plan going into this game against the Cowboys was actually somewhat similar to what Kansas City was trying to do against the Ravens. Baltimore has one of the most talented defenses in football, but they also have one of the most aggressive. And the way offenses counter that aggressiveness is by calling plays that are more difficult for defenders to recognize. Last week I made a quick video on Andy Reid's wide receiver end-around tight end wineback from Week 3 against the Ravens, and the Browns basically ran the exact same play in Week 4 against the Cowboys on 2 different occasions. The first one came late in the first quarter, and to see what this play is designed to do, we have to pay really close attention to Dallas's linebackers Jalen Smith and Joe Thomas. The play that Cleveland is running is designed to look like counter, which is also designed to look like a different play itself. On counter, 4 of the 5 offensive linemen take a playside step to make it look like the play is outside zone, and the remaining linemen will pull from one side to the other. So here, because the counter is supposed to look like it's going to the left from the offensive perspective, the right guard pulls from right to left. When linebackers are trying to identify and defend different run plays, they pay attention to the movement of the offensive linemen. So pay close attention to the movement of Dallas's linebackers. When Smith and Thomas see the bucket step from 4 of the 5 offensive linemen, they both slightly flow to the left side of your screen. Then when they identify the pulling guard, they both make a sharp cut to the right, but at this point they don't know that Cleveland isn't running counter. The instinctive response from a linebacker who thinks he's seeing counter is to attack the line of scrimmage and overcorrect the mistake that he made by flowing to the wrong side. Now the linebackers are way out of position and the offensive lineman can steal them inside while Odell Beckham gets the ball on the end around with a lead blocker in front of him. So the question that needs to be answered now is, where did that lead blocker come from? That lead blocker is tight end Harrison Bryant, who lined up on the strong side of the formation pre-snap and shot to the right side of the screen after the snap was taken to make it look like he was a lead blocker on counter. But once Mayfield faked the handoff to Nick Chubb, Bryant performed what's known as a windback block. He then lead blocked for Odell downfield, and the play resulted in a 23-yard gain. Cleveland ran the same play late in the fourth quarter, and that time it went for a 50-yard touchdown. The defense again fell for the fake counter, and Harrison Bryant again sealed the edge for Odell on the windback block. Now, the last run play I want to show you from this game came back in the second quarter, and even though it's not as flashy as those wide receiver end-arounds, it provides a good example of how Kevin Stefanski has worked in more creative blocking concepts that bring out the best in his players. The blocking concept is a variation of trap called wham and is designed to look like counter. 4 of the 5 offensive linemen are down blocking like they would on outside zone, and the center is pulling to the backside to set the edge. That leaves the one tech nose tackle unblocked, who will get sealed inside by the H-back Harrison Bryant to clear the hole for Kareem Hunt. When Jalen Smith sees the center pulling to the left side of the formation, he follows him because Smith thinks he's seeing counter, which basically takes him out of the play completely. But the really important defender on this play is the box safety Xavier Woods. Woods was not accounted for in the initial blocking scheme because he crept down toward the line of scrimmage just before the snap was taken. But when he sees the center pulling toward the backside, he slightly over-pursues, and Kareem Hunt is able to run right through his arm tackle for a 12-yard gain. The run blocking from this offensive line has been nothing short of spectacular. Joel Bitonio and Jack Conklin have been dominant as usual, Jedrick Wills is playing very well for a rookie, Wyatt Teller has developed into one of the best guards in the league, and even Harrison Bryant has really excelled in the H-back role they've used him in. But this offense still has one major problem: Baker Mayfield. I made a video over the offseason all about how I really believed that Kevin Stefanski would turn things around for Baker. And Stefanski has done most of the things that I thought he would do. He's using play action at the 7th highest rate in the league and running the ball at the highest rate in the league. But as much as it pains me to say it, Baker is still struggling. He's 29th in on-target pass percentage, and not only is he throwing inaccurate passes, he's slow in processing defenses, which is causing him to miss reads. Kevin Stefanski's Shanahan-style offense is heavily reliant on hard play action, similar to Sean McVay's offense or Kyle Shanahan's. And the example I want to show you is a staple in McVay's offense. McVay likes to condense the formation, which is what Cleveland does here in an effort to force the outside cornerbacks into outside leverage. There's a Yankee concept downfield which has a deep clear out from the number 1 at the bottom of the screen and an over route from the wide receiver at the top of the screen. The play action fake will draw the linebackers and defensive linemen to one side, and the over route is designed to get into the space vacated by those linebackers. The will linebacker LJ Fort doesn't get pulled by the play action, but he's occupied in the flat by Austin Hooper, so Kadarrell Hodge is wide open over the middle. But for some inexplicable reason, Baker checks off his read and throws the ball away. Hodge had more than enough space to turn upfield for a big gain, but Baker just refused to throw the ball. Now, you may attribute this to Baker learning a new scheme, but this is as simple as it gets. As soon as he sees LJ Fort take Hooper in the flat, Baker needs to throw this ball, and the fact that he doesn't is extremely concerning to me. This shows a lack of confidence, and it was not an isolated incident. Just last week against the Cowboys, the Browns called a very similar Yankee concept, and Baker did everything right except for actually throwing the ball. The number 1 at the bottom of the screen is again running a clear out, Odell Beckham is running an over route from the top of the screen, and Austin Hooper is running a leak route on the backside. After the play action fake, the hook zone linebacker Joe Thomas is way out of position, which gives Odell Beckham more than enough separation to make the catch and turn upfield. But Baker instead turns around and throws the ball away. He rolled left like he was supposed to, set his feet like he was supposed to, but never made the throw. I really think this run game can take the Browns to the playoffs, but for that to happen, Mayfield simply needs to be better. This scheme is designed to create clearly defined reads and take the pressure off the quarterback. And it's working. Baker's job is much easier now than it was last year, and even though his numbers are slightly better in most areas, I can't confidently say that I'm ready to declare the Browns as the offensive threat I thought they were going to be. As much as I want to be right about Baker, he has yet to prove to me that he can lead this offense to a winning season. He'll really be tested this week against Indianapolis, who currently ranks 4th in the league in terms of rushing defense, and Cleveland is missing Nick Chubb, so Baker will be forced to make tougher throws into tighter windows. Through only 4 games, Kevin Stefanski has done a nice job of maximizing the Browns' offensive talent through a ruthless run game and creative blocking concepts. But the run game can only take you so far. They're not going to rush for 300 yards every game like they did against the Cowboys, and if they want to compete with good defenses like the Colts or the Steelers, Baker needs to be a better passer. But that's going to do it for this week's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.